Hey guys, today I'm just doing a quick video on Alex Preddy and the mistakes he made, during the protest. Um, you know, Today's video, I'm going to have a link to one of my t-shirts in the comment section if it's something you guys want to check out. One of my t-shirts I personally designed myself, because I'm an Amazon designer. But let's get right into the video, guys. What are the mistakes he made? First of all, anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Second Amendment supporter. I really believe that people should have the right to bear arms, to protect their families, to protect the community, to protect the police, because that's what America was built on. America used firearms to have the freedoms that we have. Otherwise we'd get overrun by other countries. Other countries would just overrun America if we didn't have guns. So guns actually gave us our freedom. So I'm a huge Second Amendment supporter. Alex Preddy, age 37, went to this ICE protest using a concealed weapon. He had a concealed weapon on him, which honestly, I don't really blame anyone for having a concealed weapon at a protest, only because things can become super violent. I mean, you could literally get backed into a corner by 5 dudes and get the shit kicked out of you. So I honestly don't blame him for having his concealed weapon on him. Um, the government is saying he should have left it home. But at the same time, Kyle Rittenhouse was walking around with an AR-15 to protect his community. He was found not guilty, apparently, of shooting a couple people because he was being attacked by the crowd. And I honestly believe they would have killed Kyle Rittenhouse that day. They would have stomped him out and killed him. Had he not shot, they would have killed him. They would have murdered him. That mob would have killed Kyle Rittenhouse. When Kyle was just trying to protect his community and stop the vandalism of local businesses. Really what Kyle Rittenhouse should have done is just join law enforcement is what he should have done. And it would have been a little bit more legit for him to walk around with a weapon. Especially an AR-15, which can be a dangerous weapon in the wrong hands. An AR-15 can be a great gun in the right hands. You could protect your community with an AR-15. You could stop a terrorist attack with an AR-15. AR-15 is a great weapon. But what are some of the mistakes that Alex made? The ICE agents were losing their temper. Let's be honest. They were losing their temper because they were being constantly harassed by the crowd. They were being constantly bullied by the crowd. They were having things thrown at them. They were having water thrown at them. They were having whistles so they couldn't even communicate with each other. I think the whistles led to his death because the cops couldn't hear the other officers. They're saying that one of the ICE agents had disarmed him before he was shot. I don't know if that's true because you can literally manipulate any video. You could literally add a gun to any video. Someone that has that sort of tech savviness could literally make a picture with a gun in it and lead people to believe that. But the videos I've seen almost look like they had disarmed him before he was shot, but the other officers didn't know that he was disarmed. I don't think they heard, the ICE agent say, "I took the gun." I don't think they heard it because everybody was blowing whistles right next to them. So they probably couldn't even hear the officer next to them. So when they yelled out "gun, gun, gun," I don't think the other officers knew that he had been disarmed by one of the ICE agents. And so that's why they opened fire on him, because I don't think they realized that he had been disarmed because they couldn't hear their fellow officers. I think the biggest mistake that he made was resisting arrest. I don't know if they were trying to arrest him. I don't know if they were trying to arrest him for obstructing justice or interfering with law enforcement duties. But, I think his intentions were good. I think he was just trying to help the woman that had been pushed. But for whatever reason, the ICE agents took offense to him, defending the woman. They took offense to that and felt like he was interfering with them. I feel like ICE kind of lost their temper a little bit. I think they can do better. For example, I used to work at a kids group home with really violent kids, and we would occasionally have to do restraints on the kids using 3 staff. Sometimes we'd only have 3 staff. We were able to restrain large kids, like 17-year-old kids that were 200 pounds. We were able to restrain them with 3 staff using proper restraint techniques. That being said, there was like 6 to 8 ICE officers. I don't understand why they couldn't manhandle him into submission without using a firearm, considering, like I said, it only took 3 of us staff to restrain a large 17-year-old male. We'd restrain him with 3 staff. Why couldn't the 6 officers restrain Mr. Pretty or Pretty? Why couldn't they restrain him, without the use of a gun? Um, I just feel like I don't think he deserved that level of force unless he was pulling out his weapon, which I haven't really seen the entire video. I haven't seen it close up. I've only seen what I can see. Um, but I think the biggest mistake he made, guys, was resisting. He was resisting the agents. They were trying to take him into custody, apparently, or they were trying to restrain him or take him into custody, and he was literally fighting like the 6 agents. He was resisting arrest. In my personal opinion, that's the biggest mistake he made, was resisting them. He was resisting arrest. Not only was he resisting arrest, but he was resisting arrest with a firearm on him. The firearm he had on him was a very expensive gun. Apparently, this is a military-issued gun. It's like a $1,500 to $2,000 gun. He had a nice sight on it. He had like 2 or 3 high-capacity magazines. So I think the ICE agents thought he was still armed. The gun, I think, was in his back holster. I don't think the other officers knew that he had been disarmed. In the moment, it happened so fast. In the moment, I don't think the ICE officers could hear the other officers say, "We took his gun." So when they yelled out, "Gun, gun, gun," the other officers just freaked out, thinking they were about to be murdered right there in the street. I think we should all put ourselves in the shoes of ICE officers. If we were fighting somebody and they had a weapon on them, like a gun, like a combat gun, I think all of us would be afraid for our life. If we were wrestling a man that had a high-capacity firearm, we were wrestling him, I think we'd be super scared of imminent threat of death. So that's the mistake he made, guys. He shouldn't have been resisting arrest. He shouldn't have been resisting arrest with a gun on his person. That's why he was shot, guys, because the officers feared for the life. In the moment, it happened so fast. I don't think the other officers knew that one of the ICE agents had disarmed him before the shots rang out. It happened quickly, guys. We're talking within 5 to 10 seconds this went down, guys. That's a quick moment. And if there was whistles blowing, which you can see in the video, there was whistles blowing very loudly. There was women screaming. There was guys screaming. There was people probably throwing things at them. It was very disorienting for the ICE agents. The other issue is they were going after some of the legal immigrant criminals. For one, I don't want illegal immigrant criminals running around our country, because if they're illegal immigrants, we don't know who they are. They're undocumented. They could literally be serial killers. They could literally be murderers. They could literally break in your house at night. They could be cartel members. They could be dangerous felons. They could be very violent people. They could be people that have done aggravated assaults, that have literally beat the fuck out of somebody. This is all things we got to worry about as Americans. That's why we document immigrants, so we know who they are. We know what their record is. When they come in legally, we have no issue with that. We don't have any issue with legal immigrants if they do it a legal process. Like for my state, we really can't afford it. We can't afford to keep having people come in. We really can't afford it. My state is a poor state. We don't even have money for sand on our roads right now. They're literally just using salt. We had a girl crash into a telephone pole last night because they're not using dirt on the road. Probably because they're funding these illegal immigrants. They're funding these migrants, and that's why we don't have sand on our roads. Even I got my pay decreased this year because they had given us direct care workers extra money this year, something like $20 million, and the governor sent that to somebody else instead of giving it to the direct care workers for increased pay. We were just given the shaft, and then the money got sent elsewhere. That's what we're finding out. But that's my biggest problem with illegal immigrants. They could be murderers. They could be rapists. Some of these illegal immigrants have murdered people. Some of these illegal immigrants have killed women. Some of them have raped women. For some of them have been sexual predators against children. So we need to get these illegal immigrants out of our country, guys, only because it's not a safe situation. Like my town right now, I don't want illegal immigrants running around my town. They could be drug cartel members. They could be major dangerous criminals. They could be people that have murdered 10 people. They could be people that have done aggravated assaults. Us as Americans, we can't risk it. That's why I think they call it vetting. That's why we vet these immigrants, so we know who they are. We know what their criminal records are. Like, for example, they just caught an illegal immigrant that was a child sexual predator from Spain. He was from Spain, and they just took him into custody. In New Jersey, he was an illegal immigrant, child sexual predator from Spain. And they just took him into custody. That's a perfect example, guys. We had a girl murdered on a trail, on a running trail, by an illegal immigrant. So this is what happens, guys. When you allow illegal immigrants, you're going to get increased crime. I know not every single immigrant, not every single illegal immigrant is a dangerous person, but us Americans, we can't risk it. We cannot risk it because we can't have random people running around our town who we have no idea who they are. They don't have ID. We don't know if they've murdered people. We don't know if they've been rapists. We don't know if they're child sexual predators. Us as Americans, we cannot risk it. But the major problem that Alex Pretty made, I'm not sure, Alex Pretty made was resisting arrest to the ICE agents was a stupid move, especially with a combat firearm on himself. It was like a military issued firearm. I think they were afraid for their life. These ICE agents know they're targeted. These ICE agents know people want to kill them. These ICE agents know that they could be the victims of aggravated assault, major assaults. So they are super defensive, guys, right now. That's why they're pushing people, because they're having PTSD reactions from constantly being fucked with by the crowd. They're having PTSD reactions. That's why they're getting so aggressive. And let's be honest, it's the leftist Democratic media. The media that's being pushed is all propaganda to turn you guys against the ICE agents. Let's be real. The Democrats, I believe Biden was a Democrat. He let in like 14 million illegal immigrants into our country. Biden should literally be in prison for that. Kamala Harris should be in prison for letting 14 million illegal immigrants in our country, and people have been murdered over it. People have been raped. Children have been hurt because of Biden and Kamala's decision to let all these illegal immigrants in our country. It's awful. So in conclusion, guys, ICE is not the problem. They're just doing their job. Their job is Customs and Border Patrol. So if an illegal immigrant crosses the border illegally, ICE has every right to go get them. Every right, because that's their job. They're a Border Patrol agent. Their job is to make sure illegal immigrants don't cross the border. So if the illegal immigrants have crossed the border, or if they've overstayed their visas, they're illegal. And if they're illegal, they need to get out of our country. Because us as Americans, we can't risk the safety issues. But in conclusion, guys, what Alex did was resist arrest with a firearm is a stupid fucking move. Until next time, guys, don't forget to check out my links in the comment section. I'm going to leave one of my t-shirts that I personally designed in the comment section. Until next time, guys, have a blessed day, and I hope you guys have a safe day as well. But again, guys, try to put yourself in ICE's shoes. They're just doing their job. Try to be respectful. They're just regular American citizens like you, trying to do a job, trying to make their community safer, trying to get these murderers off the street, these rapists off the street, these child sexual predators off the street. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a blessed day and stay safe out there. Till next time.